I know. I said it in yesterday's video that I love doing Foamposite videos, and you guys are like, yeah, every once in a while Butter does do Foamposite videos, and then it's the next day and I'm doing another Foamposite video. It's just by chance, okay? This was not at all planned. I was looking for today's shoe and I'm like going through the upcoming releases, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 week in advance, that kind of stuff, and I happened to notice that there's another Foamposite. Yesterday it was all about these guys right here. You could call them the triple blacks, or you could call them the anthracite. Is that how you pronounce it? Whatever you do call them, I think they were an absolutely beautiful shoe. I called them sexy in yesterday's video, and I never call shoes sexy, you know what I'm saying? But that's a really beautiful shoe. And then here today, we're jumping across to this one, the Gradient Soles, or Black Team Royale, depending on which way you want to call it. And I hadn't planned on this shoe at all. The triple blacks I'd seen a while back, and I was thinking, you know what? I want to do that shoe when the timing's right. And then I did that video yesterday, and today, like I said, looking for the shoe. Turns out on the same date, October the 15th, in a couple of weeks' time, this shoe's going to be dropping as well. And it's the right shoe at the right time. So forgive me for doing back-to-back Foamposite shoes, or maybe you're like, yay, Foamposite videos back-to-back. You know, it's not planned this way. This is how things just drop at the Tokyo Butter 23 Sneaker channel. And with that being said, it's time for us to get into this and take a close-up look at the upcoming release on October the 15th of the Nike Air Foamposite 1 Gradient Soles, or Black Team Royale. This is the Tokyo Butter 23 Sneaker channel. Tokyo Butter 23 Sneaker channelです。毎日アップするので、毎日見てください. Every single day from Tokyo, Japan, I bring you content about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news, and sneaker reviews. And today we have our second Foamposite in 2 days. And I always kind of give a little history lesson to this. The florals, talked about it yesterday, talking about it again today. That was one of the first videos that might actually have been the first video to go past 1,000 views on my channel back in December 2018. And I was totally taken by surprise. I did not expect Foamposites to have this kind of following, but they do have, it's almost cult-like or niche, you know, but the people who are into their Foamposites are passionate about their Foamposites, and so I've done a few, I would say maybe up to 10. Yesterday's video I didn't talk enough about this right here, which is a Foamposite Light, Nate Robinson, the Kryptonite, and that's a great shoe, and normally people that are into their Foamposite would be like, yeah, that's a very cool shoe, but it's even cooler if you can see it in hand. And a good friend of mine who drops content from time to time, Shoe Butter, one of the greatest Instagram and YouTube shoe people of all time, he would occasionally drop me 2-minute videos, and that was one of them, with the in-hand Nate Robinson Foamposite Lights, a beautiful shoe, the Kryptonite. But you know, with lockdown, with COVID, with coronavirus, that whole sort of like getting content and all that kind of stuff, where Shoe Butter is right now is a mega lockdown, and he can't get from his house to the shoe apartment, so there is no content coming my way right now. But hopefully the big man will be back sometime soon, and we can get some content from down where he is, and we'll get to see that amazing shoe apartment sometime real soon. But yeah, I didn't mention that yesterday. I did mention about these. Bang, there's the Shattered Backboards, one of my favourite Foamposites of all time, and then bang, the University Reds. I like to show those two because the Shattered Backboards, I think I'm right in saying, are Foamposite 1s, and then back to the University Reds, which aren't really red, but anyway, are Foamposite Pros. And I say it in every single Foamposite video. Foamposite 1s, no swoosh on the side. Foamposite Pro, big ass swoosh on the side. And then back to today's video, you can see that these Gradient Soles don't have a swoosh on the side, and then it is known to all that this is a Foamposite 1 as opposed to a Foamposite Pro, and it's definitely not a Foamposite Light. So so that's the shoe today. That's the reason we're doing this kind of, it wasn't planned, but it is planned. If you watch my channel regularly, you know that I research the shoes and I come at you guys with as much information as I can about a shoe that's coming in about 2 weeks' time. So I didn't plan to do this shoe today, but of course, as always, I've researched about it, and hopefully I'm bringing you guys good information. Now, it's in contrast to yesterday's shoe. Let's bring back yesterday's shoe so you can have a look at that, because that was black everywhere, and there might have been a hint of grey on the heel just to give some definition to the branding, but this shoe was ultra black, and it was a deep black too. It wasn't like a matte black, it had a sort of depth to it. And then we come back to today's shoe, and it's got almost nothing the same. almost nothing the same. There's just one tiny point on it that's the same. So let's have a look at all of that. So we'll start with the upper and go to that sheeny, shiny, silver, bright upper on these. It's a shimmering foam shell, according to one site that I had a look at. And like I said, totally opposite of yesterday's shoe, the very deep black, dark, sort of absorbent of yesterday's shoe is gone, and today it's reflective and bright and shiny. And it's not only that, not only is it a silver feel to it, but also hopefully zooming in on it, you can see that there's more of a sort of reflective element as well. So it's got that kind of almost a spectrum of colors in there, as well as that shiny silver feel to it. So that's difference number one. Difference number two is if we go and have a look at the lacing system. Yesterday it was more of a suede feel to the lacing system, but today is definitely that leather lacing system. Now it is black like yesterday's shoe, and this is the one thing that is the same compared to yesterday's shoe. Today's shoe is the little swoosh on the lateral side is also in black, black on black for that little swoosh. But like I say, yesterday it was all about the suede around the laces, and today it's all about the leather. And then it's not too hard to go up from there. One of the major differences on these guys is the striped tabs. I love looking at the tabs on Foamposites. I don't know if that's weird, but they're just they have character to them, and they do a good job over at Nike of deciding what to do with the tabs on these shoes and whether or not to have them. In the case of these ones, striped or solid or colorful or monochrome or those kind of things. So today what we're looking at is striped tabs up at the top of the lacing system, but also at the top of the heel. And speaking of that heel, let's flip around and have a look at that, and you can see that branding I was talking about that was perhaps grey on yesterday's shoe is definitely grey on today's shoe, and you can see that definition that provides between the branding itself and the heel. Now, not too far away from that is a question for you guys out there. I can't remember what shoe it was. I think it might have been a Foamposite, and we talked about Penny. I was going to say JC Penny, but I think that's an American store, so I'm wrong about that. But a basketball player called Penny, I can't remember his actual name. But the reason we're talking about this is right here. If you look at the insoles, you can see not the same insole, something I love when they have differences between the left and right shoe. But you've got the standard branding on, I think it's the left shoe, and then on the right shoe you can see it says Penny on the inside there, and I think that's the outline of a state in America. I would go for one of the Carolinas. Definitely check me out in the comments down below and tell me if I've got that right or wrong. And then Penny, I think, is a basketball player, famous in the late 90s, wore a pair of Foamposites for a dunk contest that I think he won in 97. But that's dragging some memory, you know, from a video I did earlier. And maybe I could throw up that video or put the shoe behind me here, and that'll help you guys remember, you know, who I'm talking about and what I'm talking about. But yes, on the insole it has Penny's name. Now there's two features that we haven't touched on yet, which is the gradients. Now the last two things to look at on the shoe. Most people will look at this right here. Doing. There's the outsole, which has a gradient from blue through red in the middle and back to blue again. It's beautiful. It's translucent. It's totally different from yesterday's solid black outsole, and it just has that great sort of transition feel about it. And I like the fact that it goes blue, red, and back to blue again. If it was, you know, blue at the front and red at the back, for example, I think that would have been a bit less. But I like the fact that it goes back. It's almost like a full circle between one end of the shoe through the whole spectrum and back to the other end with the colouring. So everybody's looking at that gradient. It says literally the name of the shoes, the Gradient Soles Foamposite ones. But there's one more gradient place that we haven't looked at and maybe you don't know about, which is right here. Doing. There's the tongues and the lacing system. We're back up there. But what I'm talking about is that little stripe that runs down the middle of the tongue. I'm going to call it vertically, although I don't know if it is really vertical. But it's got that gradient feel going on. It's a bit different from what's going on down below because I don't think it's got red on it, but I'm pretty sure it's something like blue through white through blue again. But you'll be able to see what I'm talking about rather than have to listen to me talking about it. But that's the last place that there's a bit of gradient and a bit of design on this shoe, and it's the last thing to do before coming back out and looking at the whole shoe. Very cool shoe, very much in contrast to yesterday's triple blacks, but a shoe in its own right, and I think it's very, very cool. It's one of those colorways that I think quite a lot of people will go after. It's got that OG feel about it. It's got that kind of classic Foamposite back in the day OG feel about it. And I think a lot of people are going to be interested in this shoe, and it could go pretty far, even though it drops on the same date as those triple blacks that we were talking about yesterday. So we'll see. It's going to be a race on October the 15th, which Foamposite is going to come out on top. For now though, it's time to sign off. It's late at night, well after midnight, almost 1 o'clock in the morning. I've got work to go tomorrow, so I've got to go chuck this video up in the computer. I'll edit it when I get home from work tomorrow, but for now, it's time for me to say farewell and do what I do at the end of every single video, which is remind you that I do this every single day. So you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.